here on FPAC 9.
Welcome. We're at the Fairfield Airport just north of the city of Fairfield, and today we're going to be taking an air tour over Fairfield. My name is Richard Thompson, and the pilot today will be Roger Messenger. This is the Cessna 172 Skyhawk that will be taking into flight. As you can notice, the wings are above the aircraft, supported by two struts. It is a propeller-based airplane that can seat 4 people. We're taking a walk around now. Notice the housings over the wheels at the bottom. There's a little window that you can see that's slightly open now. Through that window, once we're up in the air, we'll be able to take pictures using our camera. The wind will be gushing by, so we'll keep it closed until we're up in the air. Then we'll release the latch, feel the rush of air going past, and see what happens. We also need to make sure that we keep the camera firmly in our hands because we don't want the camera to accidentally take off and do some of its own skydiving. Join us now as we're about to get into the plane and start taxiing down the runway. As we go down the runway, I'd like to remind you that, or let you know for the first time, that we'll be averaging about 800 to 1,000 feet up in the air, and we'll be cruising between 90 and 110 miles per hour. This is the monitor that's part of our camera attachment that will enable us to be able to see where we're filming as we're pointing the camera out the side of the window. Right now, we'll just let you enjoy the view going down the first part of the runway until we make the turn.
Now, I'm filming now.
This is a view that you don't normally get to see. Normally, the passenger and pilot are pretty far up or actually down, and you don't get this kind of a view, but with the camera being up where it is, we get an unusual view of the runway. We're turning now, and we're cleared for takeoff. And without a stop, we're off and running.
particularly.
Anywhere you want to go. I guess it seems to Fairfield first. That would be good. Down in the country.
Going over US Highway 1 now, and we're headed towards the campus of MIU. We've just opened up the window, and there's the two golden domes of MIU and Utopia Park in the foreground. The city of Fairfield is in the back, as you can see. Somewhat of a hazy day this morning. But that actually works to our advantage, because if it was too sunshine, then you wouldn't be able to see much. This is Waterworks Park. And the two lagoons just off to the side of it. The wind is rushing past pretty strongly. It doesn't take much to stick your hand out before it wants to fly off, so we're having to be very, very careful so that the camera doesn't go flying out of our hands. Can't really use a shoulder strap or anything to secure it. This is a new experience for us, trying to film out of an airplane. We're looking now westward towards the city of Fairfield. I believe that that's the high school complex. And there's the Little League Diamonds right in the center of the screen. We're now looking at the south of Fairfield and all the residential areas that are developed there. We're going to swing around and we're going to take a look at Central Park in Fairfield. The camera moves around a little bit, and we apologize.
Couple blocks north. What's that? Couple blocks north of the aquatic center.
So we'll get over that way here.
If we get in on the square, and
What's that?
if we get in close to the square,
Yeah.
Here's Central Park coming into view. We're looking towards the north now. Here's Washington School with the ball diamond in the field. Fairfield's water tower coming up and disappearing. And there it is again. Here's Central Park. Again, looking at it towards from the southwest at this point. Now we're just going off a little bit as this plane circles about. Looking at the factory district. And looking back now at the town businesses. There aren't too many people out this morning because it's about 9 o'clock in the morning and it's on a weekend. We're looking now at Evergreen Cemetery. And here's the Fairfield High School coming into view up at the top of the screen with the field playing area for football and such in the large parking lot. Been many expansions of the Fairfield High School over the years. It's a wonderful asset to the community. If you look very closely, you can see the shadow of the plane on the field. It's about ready to disappear, but we're between the sun and the earth. And our shadow has just disappeared out of camera range. We're looking south now over Fairfield. Sometimes we forget how small everything is when you look at it from the air. We get so used to walking on the streets and in our neighborhoods, and we forget what things look like. For instance, here's a field that somebody has developed, and they've created their own special pattern that you'd never know from the ground, but from the air it's clearly visible. We'll get a closer view in just a moment. We're just going to let you watch and listen as we travel over Fairfield. We're going to be coming up on the Raj Hotel. It's a big building with complexes surrounding it. And then we'll go in for the landing back at the Fairfield Airport in just a few minutes. So we'll let you sit back and enjoy the view and the sounds. Again, we're cruising at about 90 to 110 miles per hour. And we're at an altitude of about 800 to 1,000 feet on average. the Raj Motel, north of Fairfield. We're about ready to land. In just a moment, we hope that you've enjoyed this opportunity to join the birds and to see Fairfield from a different perspective than what you normally get to see. I appreciate this opportunity. It's been a lot of fun. Last year, several of us flew up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the International Air Show. And one of the highlights there was to see the Apollo astronauts salute. And we had the opportunity to see Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, among others, who had landed on the moon, and to be able to hear their descriptions of what it was like to land on the moon and the trials and tribulations of actually flying there and back. It's a very interesting experience. One of the highlights for me was to hear Stuart Roosa, who just passed away a few months ago, that when he stood on the moon, he could hold his thumb up and block out the image of the Earth. It was that distant from the planet that his thumb could cover the entire planet. We've come a long way since the Wright brothers back in the early 1900s. And it's always nice to be able to land again. Here we land. We're back in Fairfield. And I thank you.
You're welcome, sir.